welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is part 5 of my Beach Guitarist series, and in this video we're going to start adding details to the guitar. The app that I'm using is Sketchable for Windows, and if you want to follow along with traditional materials, check out part 1 in this series where I have a discussion of all the materials that are suitable for this painting. So I want to go ahead and kind of work on refining the guitar, and I'm going to use the circular guide to round out the sound hole for the guitar here. And if you're following along traditionally, you can use a bottle cap or just some round object that makes that's the size that you want to, or you can use a compass if you like. And here I'm just using an off-white color to make the decoration on the guitar. She has a little bit of a pattern that goes around the sound hole there, and I'm using kind of a really light yellow and just kind of adding some details. It doesn't have to be really big detail there, just kind of give an indication of a design on the guitar. And then here I'm going to use the straight line guide to straighten out the neck just a little bit right there and make sure that it doesn't look crooked. And you can use a ruler for this if you're following along traditionally. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the bridge to the guitar there, and I'll just use a black color for that. And I'm still using the straight line guide there to help me get it correct. And you can also use the straight line guide to make sure that it's not in the wrong position there. Make sure that you've got it straight on the guitar. And if you're following along traditionally, a T-square will work really good for this too. And here I'm just kind of adjusting the shape of it. I'm using a black color and just kind of working on trying to get that curved look that it has on her guitar there. And I'm using the paintbrush option in Sketchable and just kind of making sure that it's opaque and working on the edge also of her arm there, straightening it out because I painted over it a little bit. So I went back and corrected that shape a little bit. And then here I want the yellow paint to not look so bright, so I'm using kind of a glaze technique to just go over the yellow color. And you can do this with acrylics and kind of pastel, just kind of darken that color a little bit. And then I'm working a little bit on the shape of her hand again, and I'm going back with some black and dark browns just to get the shape of her fingers again. And you just kind of have to keep doing that till you're satisfied with the shape that you get. And here I'm kind of adding a little bit of some brown to her hands just to give the detail of the knuckles on her hands. And I'm not making it real clear because I want to kind of leave this with a painterly look here. And then I just kind of need to work a little bit more on the neck of the guitar, and I'm just darkening it a little. I wanted it to have a little bit of a darker brown color, kind of a dark reddish brown, but not totally black. We just kind of want to give the indication of some wood color, so I'm not painting it totally black there. I'm just kind of smudging in a little bit of darker color there just to give it kind of a wood-like texture. And then I'm working a little bit on the head of the guitar there and just kind of adjusting the end of it and that curve, trying to get that curved shape that they have on it. And just kind of going back and trying to get the edge of the guitar that's next to her hair here by adding some colors to her hair and sort of the dress, and just refining the shape of the guitar body there. And you can do that by adding more blue to her dress and just kind of correcting and refining it so that it's more curved right there. And the paint brushes are probably the best for that. In Sketchable, just use the paint brushes. Here I'm working on the bridge again, putting the little pegs there that will hold the guitar strings there, and just kind of using indications of little dots. They don't have to be real clear looking, but just some indications there. And then I'm adding the frets on the guitar neck here. And you can use an off-white color or really light yellow or light orange, and just kind of follow along with your photo reference to see how they're spaced on the guitar. And I'm trying to make them straight, but they're not totally straight, but that's not going to matter too much because you can go back and correct that a little, but you're going to put strings over them anyway. And then I'm just working on adding the tuning pegs on the end there. And then this is how I'm going to go ahead and add the strings, is using the straight line guide and lining them up each on the tuning pegs on the end of the guitar. And like I said, if you're following along traditionally, a T-square or a ruler will work just fine to make your guitar strings. And here I'm using kind of a light color for them, and I'm going to darken that in a minute, but I just wanted them light enough that I could see what I was doing and where I was putting them, and just kind of line them up with the tuning pegs and also the pegs that are on the bridge, so that it follows how a guitar is made and makes it look plausible. And here, see, I darkened the strings a little. I just took kind of a little bit brown color and just kind of made them a little bit darker because it's in shadow and the sun is behind the girl instead of in front, so it's not going to be shining on the strings, but you can still see that the strings are there. So you just kind of want a broken indication there. And then I'm just kind of working more on the strings here and the hand a little bit again because I went across there, so I'm painting back over that again, just refining the shape of the hand one more time, adding a little bit of a dark edge to it. And we just kind of want indications of strings. And then I'm adding the pearl inlay look to the fretboard on the guitar there, and you just kind of make little dots there and just make sure that you give indications. It doesn't have to be real big detail. And then I just added kind of an indication of the writing. I don't know what brand the guitar was, but I just added some little squiggles there to make it look like there's writing on the end of the guitar. And then I'm just working along the edge there. There's a little light color, kind of an off-white color. And I'm using the pastel tool in Sketchable for that. Just kind of want a broken line there just to kind of give an indication of the decoration on the guitar. And if you're following along with acrylic or pastel, a script brush will work fine with acrylic, and a pastel pencil will work fine if you're doing a pastel painting of this. And so I'm just kind of refining the edge of the guitar a little bit there, and painting it with the dress color and just going back, and I'm making it sort of a black color. And it can be a really dark red or a really dark blue. It doesn't have to be a totally flat black color there. And then I'm just kind of working on the body of the guitar, smoothing it out a little bit, and using the darker yellow ochre color there just to kind of get some refinements here. And then her strap is on the end of the guitar there, kind of. You can see where it pegs on there, so I'm just kind of adding an indication of the peg, and you can probably see a little bit of the strap, maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, just something right there. And it just make indications. It doesn't have to be really refined looking. We're just kind of wanting to get sort of the impression of guitar parts and things, because we want this to get a painterly look for this picture. We're not making it a real refined look. And then here I'm painting on the tuner pegs there, and they're kind of well, they look sort of reddish in the painting. So I'm putting a little bit of a dark red color, orange color, and you can see that the sun is kind of hitting them from behind, and they're translucent looking. So I'm just trying to get kind of that look there, and just making indications again of the guitar parts. It doesn't have to be real fine detailed for this painting. So this is the end of part 5 of my Beach Guitarist series. And if you want to see the next part, just hit the subscribe button. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.